Alright, so first and foremost, I want to say I'm sorry. Yes, I'm doing another decklist video. I wanted this to be a gameplay video with decklist, so I was going to make a very long video of showing you guys games and then talking about this new decklist. Unfortunately, the sim is dead. I don't know what happened, the unlimited lobbies, there's nobody playing there right now, and I can't play with the starter deck category in the normal lobbies, so we're just gonna have to wait for now. And I think this is very important to go through, so I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I need to go again. The deck list, I wasn't expecting this, so I need to tell you the story behind this deck list. If you didn't see my last video, in my last video was a deck list video telling you guys I updated the deck list again, and I was explaining to you guys why I was playing like I was playing. And after I stopped recording, the idea came to me of just playing Daifuku. This card is almost single-handedly the reason why I'm making another video, okay? And so this idea came to me. I'm like, wait a second, can't we just play Daifuku here? It shouldn't be as good as Sparrow, which was the card we were giving priority to. And so I just put this deck list together, and at the end of that video of yesterday, you guys saw me saying, look guys, there's actually another version you may try if you want to, which is with Daifuku, but I think Sparrow may be better, so I'm gonna try the Sparrow first. Right after that video, I edited it, I uploaded. If you're a supporter of the channel, that means you're giving me a paid subscription, sorry. You guys were seeing those videos first. I hopped into the sim. At that time I had lobbies to play, and I was playing the Sparrow version. And let's just say I went 4 games. In those 4 games my hand bricked like crazy, and I wasn't finding my combo pieces, and I got mad. I lost 4 games in a row because, like, if I did my combos, my hand would be bricked and I couldn't really protect myself, or I wasn't even finding my combo pieces and I was getting bricked. My hand was getting bricked and I was taking lives for free anyways. And so I got mad, and I had this version of Daifuku ready to go, just ready to go, and like, you know what? I'm done breaking my hand. I'm gonna play this Daifuku version because it just has more counter, and it should be easier to counter at least some swings, and I'm tired of not being able to counter out swings a little bit, or to not be able to protect my blocker category when I need to. I was just frustrated, and I just tried this deck list. Let me tell you, the difference was so much that this right now is my main deck. Like, Daifuku alone makes such a huge difference. I can't even believe that a vanilla card was the answer to my problem. Like, I was having a problem of the bricked up hand and not finding combos, or what I mean by combos is usually you really want to play the 7 cost pudding into something else, and I wasn't finding targets consistently enough. And Daifuku solved both of those problems that I was having as a single card, okay? So let's jump right into this video. Sorry, you guys need to understand this history behind this deck list. It was just funny to me, because right now I don't even think of going back from this deck list. Like, it's just really good. It's very consistent at doing what it likes to do. Again, we can't test really against more meta matchups. Purple NL, blue yellow Nami, and I believe black yellow Blackbeard should be the priority matchups that I need to test this into. I did test this in solo versus self against these decks, but obviously it's me against myself, so I can't take those as actual data. But the deck feels so good to play. The focus of this video will be explaining Daifuku. I already explained it a little bit, but we'll be explaining Daifuku more in depth. I'll be explaining my reason behind the 2 cost category being at 4. Again, I've already talked this many times, but now with Daifuku, it adds a little bit more of value, or another explanation that I believe is worth explaining, okay? And the 2 cost link, as well as the 3 copies of Mamoragan. So, first and foremost, Daifuku, this is the card that we need to focus. I've already talked about my hand used to brick a lot with the, like, just playing 2Ks and then another Peril. My hand was getting bricked, and I couldn't really counter out of many swings. What I mean by counter out of many swings is sometimes you take your life, and that is fine. You let your opponent attack into you, and you take the life, and then sometimes you block with Katakuri and counter a 2k. You usually don't really like losing this Katakuri. This Katakuri is very insane because it keeps restanding himself and this Katakuri, and so they just keep getting value after value because of that restand. And because we play 4 copies sometimes, and we play 11, in my case 11 searches, but still sometimes we're not finding him. And so losing the only one we have on the field can be very bad. And so many times I wanted to not block with him because I didn't have counter to protect him from after swing. So sometimes people would swing to try and bait this block and then would attach more Dawn and attack into him. What I like to do is sometimes I take that free block, and then when they attach the Dawn, I counter out of that swing into this Katakuri. And so this, if it kinda, this is not actually true, kinda feel like this guy blocks 2 swings. It really doesn't, because they usually like attach a lot of Dawn to swing into this guy. But it's better than to swing onto our lives, because then these two start getting more value. But we'll get to that. And so when I was playing Parasparrow, I couldn't do this. I couldn't get the free block or block and counter, whatever. And I couldn't block and let him go because I wasn't finding more of the 8 cost Katakuri. And so this was feeling very bad. Like I just was taking lives for free, letting board go for free, and Parasparrow cycle wasn't enough. It just wasn't. In theory, it should be enough. In practice, it wasn't enough. When I added Daifuku, oh, and then you have the pudding situation, which is you play pudding, you draw 2, you don't find any targets, and so you pretty much just went down 2 Dawn, and you get some Dawn back, usually with the pudding and Katakuri, and you weren't really playing anything. We were playing a 5k power card for 7 Dawn, which is not really ideal. Now, with Daifuku is a 2k, and now thanks to this we're playing 12 2ks, and so it is easier to do what I like to do, which is block and counter, block, and then they swing with more Dawn attached into this Katakuri, and then counter out of that. It just makes a lot more pressure and makes it much easier to defend by having 12 2k counters. Also, early game, sometimes depending, this is usually against the Kuzan. This is very specific for Kuzan because it's very popular in the unlimited lobbies. Sometimes we want to counter out of early swings, and I wasn't finding 2ks to counter out of, and now with 12 2ks, thanks to Daifuku once again, we can counter out of these early swings better to dodge the blind guy, which I forgot his name. Why do I keep getting Tashigi onto my head? It's not Tashigi. It's the Isho. It's Isho. So to dodge Isho, Isho's effect is if you discard 2 cards, if your opponent has 6 or more cards in hand, they also discard 2 cards. And so countering early swing from Kuzan usually helps us dodge this effect. Then when we play the 7 cost pudding, we draw 2. That once again enters in the range of Isho, but by then we have our board built, so we don't really mind discarding 2 cards. It's fine. But yeah, so we weren't finding targets, and now with Daifuku we have more targets. So we could play 2 Daifuku, 2 Parasparrow, but this would bring the problem once again of not having counter power for early swings to protect our board if we want to. So I just removed Parasparrow and playing 4 Daifukus. This makes so we have 12 targets for pudding. This is Katakuri, Daifuku, okay? We have 12 2ks, we counter early, and we have more than enough targets for the searches as well. Sometimes when you already have board built, and you kind of need, this is not true for Brule by the way, but for these two, and sometimes you can afford to have an extra Dawn to use. You can use it to search these and to try and find more 2ks, okay? so you just up a little bit of your defense, because since you swarm your board a lot, this makes your aggression already taking care of itself, you know? The aggression pretty much comes in the core strategy, and so you use your these searches to try and find more 2Ks. Pudding cannot find Brule and cannot find Uzohashi because he's not Big Mom, and so Daifuku is a target for Pudding to go a little bit more in defense, okay? So this is the explanation of Daifuku. Extremely consistent. Also, he's a 7k body, so he's a strong body. Let's imagine a very worst case scenario. We're talking about the low roll of our lives, which is you don't fight on your 7th on turn, you don't fight Pudding, or usually when you ramp with category, you don't fight Pudding, you don't find category, you make the triple Dawn ramp, you don't find Lin category or Pudding or another of this category, then worst case scenario, and you need to whiff a lot, by the way, for this to happen. This hasn't happened to me, but just another situation. You can play Daifuku, at least you have a body on the field. You want to be playing bodies on your early turns, and so Daifuku makes sure you play those bodies every time. Every time he hasn't whiffed ever since I added him, okay? Now let's go into the 2-cost category. This guy I am playing 4 of. If you want to, you can remove one for the... We are going to claim the One Piece. That is completely fine, but I really love him for this reason. I've already talked about that I really love him at 4, because if you kind of low roll and you don't find your most important pieces, this being the categories most of the time, by the way, later in the game when you have more Dawn to use and your opponent has more Dawn, you can use him and replace by category, use another one and replace him by the 5-cost category, and then you set up your board for 4 Dawn and you have incredible big bodies, okay? This also goes up in value now thanks to Daifuku. Again, we're talking about low rolls here, like when we are not finding our most important pieces. So let's imagine we have this 5 cost category and the Pudding, and we play this Pudding and we don't find the 8 cost, but we find Daifuku. We play Daifuku. Next turn, we are going to be at 10 Dawn if we don't see a window where we should play any of these Linlins. And by the way, we shouldn't. We really want to have a category on the field before we play these Linlins, okay? Your opponent should be at 8 on, so what you can do is you can play this category for this category and then make very big swings with this category and Daifuku and Leader, okay? This makes so that you can swing with this category and Daifuku, very big, and then just restand them both with this one, okay? This just, like, in theory, shouldn't be this good, okay? But in practice, it's very annoying to your opponent because he cannot swing onto our bodies. In terms of blue, again, I'm giving the example for Kuzan that plays Gravity Blade, this one. They can remove these two, and once again, this guy gets extreme value. They remove these two, you can just play 2 of this guy and replace him by a category and this category, or play by 2 8-cost category, or replace him by 2 5-cost category. It's already good enough, okay? And so this guy just has value when they remove your bodies for bottom decking and not KO, and when you low roll, or sometimes this happens, they swing very big into the 5-cost category, I need to let him go. I don't have a good target to play, so I play this 2-cost category, they pass turn, top deck, 8-cost category, replace this guy right away for free. This happens a lot of times, by the way. And so, if not, again, you can always use him as counter. You can always use him as fuel for the Linlings. Like you need to discard a card to use their effect, so you can discard this guy if you're not seeing any more use to him. Again, purple NL, this guy gets a lot of value now because if NL keeps going down 2 Dawn to be at 4 Dawn, so we cannot replace this guy by this guy, then they are not making optimal plays with their events. And if they respect that and actually play for their optimal turns with their optimal events, then that means they're just going down 1 Dawn to stop your 7-cost Pudding, which means you can still play this guy to replace him for this, which still helps you swarm the board, which is what you want to do. So your swarm is always online thanks to this, okay? This is why these two are very important and why I love them at 4. If anything goes wrong, if they remove your board and there's nothing you can do, you play this guy, you swarm your board right back. If you whiff this girl, again, you use this guy to swarm your board right up on late game. This guy helps you with the low rolls or get even more value out of your high rolls. What I mean is, 3 down turn, you play Pudding. 5 down turn, you play category, you swing with leader effect. This will give you the dawn back, and this guy will give you 2 dawn. So you're ramping a full turn. Next turn, you should be at 7 dawn. You are not, you are at 9. And this is where the high roll comes in. You're at 9 dawn, you have this category, you have this category, this category, this category, and this Pudding in hand. What you can do is, with 9 dawn, your opponent on the other side should be at 6 dawn. So you play this guy, replace him with this category, play Pudding, -2 dawn, draw 2, play this category, and now you just swarm your board. So your board should look like leader, 3 cost Pudding, 2 5 cost category, 7 cost Pudding, and 1 8 cost category. Like your board is completely swarmed. Next turn you're gonna make a lot of pressure. This is the highest of high rolls. So yeah, this guy also adds more value to your very high rolls, okay? Hopefully this is good enough of explanation of this category. Again, I don't blame you to go down 1 to go to 12 searchers. That is fine by me, because he is not priority. Your priority always is 5 cost category, 7 cost Pudding, and 8 cost category, okay? These 3 are your bread and butter, and so you should be looking for them as much as possible, and having 12 searchers is the best way to go. So I don't blame you to go down 1, but I'm loving him at 4. Now, let's go into Shard Liling. This 9 cost Shard Liling is hard to explain. Very hard to explain. In theory, the 10 cost Rush Liling should be better, okay? This one. You should remove these 2 copies for 2 copies of 10 cost Rush Liling. What happened was, I don't know why this happened. When I was playing with 2 Rush Lilings, every time I dropped her, it didn't feel good. It wasn't getting that good value. I don't know why. I can't explain why, really. It's just in theory, because you're playing a 10 cost 12k rush body, it should be so much better than this Liling, but it's not. And so I changed it back to the 9 cost Liling. We only play 2 copies, and it's so much better. I don't know why though. The best way I have to explain this to you is comparing this Liling to the yellow color. If you don't know, I think you guys know, yellow color right now, its whole identity pretty much is playing cards that just give you life and pretty much try to stall by getting lives after lives after lives, and then you keep playing big bodies, and then you slowly take away your opponent's board and slowly take away their lives. But the idea is you keep reviving your lives with this Borsellino. This Zoro as well is extremely popular because it's not leader locked. This Blackbeard, also very popular, not leader locked. And so there's a lot of people playing Moria if they're playing the Thriller Bark Pirates package, also not leader locked. So yeah, yellow is playing a lot of these cards that get you 1 life. And this lane pretty much is the same. She gives you 1 life with extra steps. You need to go -1 down, -1 card in hand, and you get the life, and you set up a 9k body. So I would compare it with Zoro. You're playing by 4 costs, you trash 1 card, and you add 1 life. This Lily is kind of like this Zoro, but like a bigger body. And she also gets rid of a 6 cost or less 2 life of your opponent. This helps you in some cases against this. This is a very good target, for example. I really love it. Against yellow, sometimes I love... Oh, sorry. I love getting rid of this as well. This does come by. I don't know, in mirror matches against category, you get rid of this category as well, by the way. So yeah, you do have good enough targets, but again, this is by practicing with the deck. The most value I got is by getting the life. Yes, you are going down 1 life, but it's okay. So many times I'm going down 1 brick. So like getting rid of this 5 cost category because I already have 1 on the field and I no longer need him. So like I get rid of this category, get 1 life. This means you're getting like a free card to hand. Like you're stopping a whole swing from your opponent and you're getting a card to hand that's hopefully not a brick. Or if it is a brick, is one of our better cards to play. This is why I love this Lily so much. It's just like getting that life is so much good value because then your opponent swings onto you and you can just take lives. And so you go up in cards in hand and that's very annoying for them. But again, explaining this to you is very hard because in theory it should not be better than the rush Lily. But in practice there's so many situations that getting that life instead of getting a rush helps so much. Many times, by the way, I kind of want to play the 10 Lily. I'm like, I kind of wish I had the 10 Lily, but I don't. I have the 9 Lily. I play the 9 Lily. It works like a charm. It helps stall the game just enough for us to then find the 10 cost Lily and start getting rid of bodies, okay? And so like 2 is perfect. I wouldn't go up. I wouldn't go down by 2. 2 is completely perfect. And yeah, like I really know that I'm not explaining the value of this card good enough or well enough, but you guys just need to take my word for it, really, and try it and see it for yourselves. Because like it really is a good card, and I had a comment in my other videos telling me 9 cost Lily is not the way to go, and it is. To me it is. I don't know, it works for me. I love her at 2, so yeah, I'm gonna be playing at 2. And now let's go to the Mamaraga, which is something I need to focus. I already kind of explained it last video. I'm playing 3. Again, if you want to, you can remove 1 category to go to 4 Mamaragans. A lot of people love playing 4 Mamaragans and 4 search events. I'm playing 3 of each. I can see playing 12 searches, you know, being much more justified than playing 4 Mamoragans, okay? The reason is you don't really like seeing this Mamoragan unless you have a target and you have Lily. So, like, playing 4-4 feels very weird because you also don't need to play Lily and right away play Mamoragan, okay? Many times, and this 9 cost Lily also helps, you can just stall the game a little bit and wait for your opponent to swing with a character that you really want to get rid of with Lily. And then you play Lily, get life, once again, stall the game a little more, and make that target 0 power, and you don't need to use Mamoragan. You can just swing with very small bodies. Many times I swing with this 3 cost pudding, by the way, and they just don't counter out of it because their character is at 0, and so if they counter out of this swing and then I just swing with leader and they're like, oh, I have a blocker, let's block, it's fine because because we swarm the board, then we can swing with this pudding or this category, so that body is gonna go away, you know. And if your opponent protects that body, he's gonna be dried up in resources. So yeah, we don't really need to use Mamoragan all the time as soon as we play Lily. Yes, it's very good if we need, like, in early game, if we counter out of a swing and draw a card, that is good as well. But again, going into 4 copies, I feel like it starts conflicting into the ratios of our main core and what we actually want to see on early game. That's why also why I'm also playing this at 3. Is because we only kind of want to see this when we have Lily, and that's when we play Lily, and that is on late game. And so, like, having 3 will not conflict so much in terms of chances to draw it instead of the core strategy, which is this 3. In my opinion, we really need this 3 on early game to swarm board first, and then we stall, control the board, take lives, don't take lives. We see depending on the situation. So yeah, I'm really gonna advise you to go to 3 Mamoragans and try to use the extra copy for something else. So yeah, this is the deck list as I'm playing. Last thing, we don't need to play Uzohashi, by the way. I am thinking about playing this pudding. Why? Because she's a 2k and she's a blocker if we need to. Sometimes there's good value here when we can play, again, the 2 cost category, replace him by the 8 cost, and then play an extra pudding, and now we have 2 blockers. This can save our life, by the way, and can stop your opponent from going to lethal. And Uzohashi's effect is not coming up right now because we swarm the board so much. I can usually just dry their resources, and if they have a blocker, then after drying their resources, I don't really need to rest that blocker. Usually you use Uzohashi to rest a blocker or rest a character that you want to get rid of. That really hasn't come up, so I am thinking about playing this pudding instead of Uzohashi. So let's actually save and I'll try it. Also, she's a 4-cost, so remember when I told you sometimes you want to use your searchers to reach more counters so you can defend your board and your lives a bit better. This pudding could not search Uzohashi. Now she can search at least this pudding because she is a 4-cost, so she's 2 costs or greater, so that's fine. So yeah, we have more targets for it. We can only, with this pudding, we cannot search Brulee as a 2k, so yeah. I feel like this is good, and I'm gonna try it. But if anything, I already know that this deck list works extremely well. The rest I have already talked about in my other videos, so I really advise you to check them out. Hopefully I explained my deck list a lot. Again, I know this is very hard to explain in theory, but you guys will see me when I have more replays with this deck list, so yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye. Guess who forgot again to talk about something else? Me. It's very quick, don't worry. If you don't want to play this pudding, you can also play Nola. This, I do believe Nola has more value than Uzohashi currently. Nola will help you protect your category from bottom deck effects. Just to give you a quick example, in a mirror match, if they play this Lingling and you have a Nola, you can protect them. This is just because sometimes it's very annoying to lose this guy early on, and so Nola will protect it, but it's not searchable by pudding or by anything, but it is nice to have. I would play 4. If I would play it, I wouldn't play like 2. I would go for the 4. But yeah, this just to add you an extra target if you don't want to play Uzohashi or this pudding. It's just something you can take into consideration. Bye bye.